What about characters from Star Wars computer games that I'd like to see in canon? After all, a lot of us felt a bit sad after the old Disney buyout because a lot of our favourite characters were rendered moot. Here's my pick of Star Wars characters from the computer games that I would love to see in canon. Number 1, fucking Kyle Katarn, man, obviously. My most favoritist Star Wars character, Katarn, is wicked. He's an ex-stormtrooper who quit the Empire after finding out that they killed his family. Over 5 of the best Star Wars PC games ever, Kyle goes from a grizzled mercenary to a nuanced, relatable Jedi Master. Rogue One came along and completely took away Kyle's legacy of being the bloke who stole the Death Star plans. Unfortunately, I can't see it's exactly likely that he's going to be CGI'd into the background of the Rogue One Special Edition. Showing you exactly how real Sith Lords build droids, HK-47 was constructed by Darth Revan for the express purpose of murder.
I am most eager to engage in some unadulterated violence.
Appearing in Knights of the Old Republic and later the Old Republic, HK-47 is a fan favourite, and he's one of the very few examples of a darker sense of humour in the Star Wars EU. HK does also appear in the Galaxy of Heroes mobile game. That's probably the closest to canon that he's ever gonna get. So while we're on the subject, in the last video I mentioned Darth Revan, mostly because he nearly appeared in an episode of the Clone Wars cartoon. The fallen Jedi Darth Revan is also from Knights of the Old Republic. He's got his own books, his own comics, and he still remains one of the most influential and fan favourite EU characters. He's another great example of that conflicted character, the reason I like Kyle Katarn so much, and he's obviously one of the influences for Kylo Ren. Here's another one for you then, come on, it's gotta be Starkiller. Sam Witwer's greatest contribution to Star Wars. Galen Marek was Darth Vader's secret apprentice, hunting down the remains of the Jedi after Order 66, before turning face and helping to found the Rebel Alliance. Starkiller appeared in quite a few games, he's got his own novels and comic books, and is a fully formed character. I've made loads of videos about Starkiller, and I made one showing how the Starkiller myth ended up being rewoven into the Star Wars Rebels cartoon. But based on the feedback from that, I think we'd still like to see Starkiller swinging a saber one last time. Next up, Mara Jade. She's an absolute badass. An Imperial assassin trained in the dark side of the Force, sent to assassinate Luke Skywalker. Eventually, also turning her back on the dark side and then training as a Jedi Knight. Brilliant character, and her inclusion in Mysteries of the Sith is just fantastic. Also, she had a purple lightsaber way before Mace Windu appeared on the scene. Thank you. Last one, perhaps a bit random. Masters of Teräs Käsi on the PS1 was a fucking terrible game, but it did actually have some pretty cool characters from around the Star Wars universe. Jodo Kast would make a great addition to the new continuity. Basically, Jodo Kast was a bounty hunter who had an identical set of Mandalorian armor, and he looked very similar to Boba Fett, to the point where people actually thought he was Boba Fett a couple of times. After Boba Fett fell into the Sarlacc, Kast just carried on his life pretending he was Boba Fett, then charging Boba Fett rate and trading off of the dead bounty hunter's reputation. Whether Boba Fett is even going to be alive in the new canon or not, I don't know, but wouldn't it be cool to have this character masquerading as Boba Fett? There's some pretty cool opportunities for fan service by bringing Jodo Kast into the film continuity. So there we are, there's my selection of characters from the expanded universe computer games that I would love to see in the main canon. I'm sure you've got your own ideas, I really want to hear about them in the comments section. If it's from the Old Republic timeline, I think it should be canon anyway, because it's so unlikely it's going to disrupt anything from the modern era. And how wicked would it be if HK wakes up in the next film, a bit like R2 did in The Force Awakens? I don't know, it doesn't really matter that much. You can headcanon all this stuff, and really that's the most important thing. If you want to see some more Star Wars computer game videos, then hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Ta-da.